Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm your boy Poe Theory. As you know, we had an election here in America, and it did not go how I thought it would go, but it happened. It was so far it was a free, fair, and balanced election, I guess. Donald Trump did the unbelievable and the unthinkable by not only winning the electoral college, but winning the popular vote. Every single pollster, every single poll said that it would be an extremely tight race. The media made it seem as if, there's no way that Donald Trump's going to win. Look how ridiculous he is. And of course, as it stands now, today, a week after the election, and also the reason I'm making this video a week after the election is because I needed to be able to sit with all of my feelings, my anger, my shifting amounts of blame to different people, different demographics, different media outlets, different things of that nature. So I just had to sit with it, and I feel like I have a pretty good grasp on my viewpoint of this election, essentially. So as it stands, he obviously won the White House. As it stands right now, he definitely won the Senate. The House is up for grabs as of now. Currently, he's at 215. The Democrats are at 206. Even though I'm a registered independent since 2018, I do tend to vote majority on the left, voting for Democrats, even though overall not a fan. Um, but they closely relate to my politics. Now, this video, everyone's going to get the smoke. I would categorize myself as a progressive. And so, this video, if you are a part of Blue MAGA, you may not like this video. Obviously, I am going to pow at some other demographics that went for Donald Trump and the Republicans. But the majority of my critiques will be for the Democratic Party. So again, if you are part of Blue MAGA and you can't dare hear anything bad be said about your lovely and dear to your heart Joe Biden, this may not be the video for you. All right, so let's get into these exit polls. Trump won men by 55%. Harris won women by 53%. Trump won white people by 57%. Harris won black people by 85%. Harris won Hispanics 52%. Asians 54%. Not shocking. Harris won black women by 91%. Again, if you ever want to know what would be the right thing to do, it tends to be to follow the lead of the black women of America. But that's neither here nor there. Um, she also won black men by 77%. So all of that talk from Barack Obama and all of these other people talking down to black men saying, why aren't you supporting Kamala? We were number two. Black men were number two behind black women, which was number one, the number one demographic that went for Kamala Harris and the Democrats. Latino women, hand clap for you, 60% for Harris. Now, this is where things get a little problematic for me. Problematic, but not shocking. Let's be very clear. Problematic, but not shocking. White women voted 53% for Donald Trump. Another thing that's not shocking, white men voted 60% for Donald Trump. Latino men voted 55% for Donald Trump. So there were some notable shifts from 2020 to 2024 that was quite shocking to a lot in the media. I feel like if they actually talk to everyday people and stop continuously touting all of these capitalistic metrics that show whether or not our economy is doing well, when the majority of the country was saying that this country was heading in the wrong direction. You can't pay your bills with GDP, but who am I to say? But let's get into these notable shifts. Latino voters. While Harris beat Trump among Latino voters, the former president gained significant ground with the group from 2020. Harris received 56% of the vote compared to 42% for Trump this election. Those numbers reflect a huge shift from the totals in 2020, when Biden received 63% of the Latino vote versus 35% for Trump. A breakdown of the vote within this demographic shows much of the shift among Latino voters towards Trump in 2024 was fueled by an increase in support among Latino men, with Harris receiving 50% of the vote compared to 47% of the vote for Trump versus 60 to 38% among Latino women. So essentially, what they are saying here, that Harris gained a smaller share, though winning the Latino vote, gained a smaller share than Biden did in 2020. And that is because more Latino men voted for Donald Trump. Even though, the way he's treated Puerto Rico, the way he has spoken about undocumented migrants, not obviously not all being Latino, some are Haitian, but we all remember what he said when he came down that lovely golden escalator in 2015. A noticeable shift with Black voters. Harris's strongest support by far came among Black voters, where she received 83% of the vote compared to 16% for Trump. Overall, however, Harris underperformed compared to President Joe Biden during the 2020 election, where he received 91% of the vote from Black men and women compared to 8% for Trump. In particular, Trump performed better among Black men, where he received 24% support versus 9% of the vote among Black women, according to the AP Votecast. Also, the majority of folks that made less than 100K voted for Trump. Now, that is wild. That is wild. Especially when Harris is coming from the administration that was extremely pro-labor. And when I say extremely by American standards, extremely by this country and government being center right. Now, to my favorite part of it, who's to blame? Is it the Democrats? Is it Biden? Is it Biden? Is it the Democrats? Is it Biden? Is it white women? Is it Biden? Is it the Democrats? I have to say that my number one person that I'm placing blame on will be Biden and his administration, his inner circle. When Biden first ran in 2019, going into 2020, he promised that he would be a transitional president. Essentially, what he meant by that, he would only be running for one term. The transition would be from the old guard, which he represents, to the new guard. It would be more so, I guess, in the crop of the AOCs. I guess Amy Klobuchar, if you want to go more so on the right, the Kamala Harris's, the Josh Shapiro's, people like the oh my God, Gavin Newsom in California. And then 2022 rolled around, and we did not get that red wave that every single poll and every single media outlet said it would happen. And I guess him and his administration got very cocky, like, oh, they like what we're doing, so maybe we should continue to run for re-election, even though there were countless polls out there saying that nobody wants a Trump and Biden rematch. No one really wanted Biden in 2019, but we all know that the DNC put their finger on the scale by having everyone drop out, and all those votes that were going for where the moderate Democrat vote, which was split among 6 people, when all those people dropped out, all those votes went to Biden, and obviously Bernie lost the primary. Like I said, there were plenty of people in this country that did not want Biden to run again. He felt like he was the only one that could beat Trump. Where every single poll showed that insert generic Democrat, they would win. And he refused to listen to those polls. I don't know if the people around him were lying. There were plenty of videos well before that horrible car crash of a debate that essentially showed that this man is not who everyone in his administration is lying and saying that he is. He's talking to walls, he zones out. But again, they kept pushing him on us and kept saying he's the only one that can save us from Trump because he was the only one that beat Trump. When really they were really understating how much COVID helped Joe Biden win. Joe Biden couldn't even adequately articulate all the things that he had done. You would hear pundits, especially pundits on The View, saying, well, no one's covering what Joe Biden has done. Last time I checked, when Trump was in office, I felt like every time I turned on the TV, this man was talking in front of a podium, letting out his speaking about his agenda, the different policies that he wanted to implement, speaking about the next boogeyman, different things of that nature. And I never saw Biden do press conferences. I mean, obviously he's done them. He's done them within his administration, but we rarely saw him. So when you would see people saying, uh, but he's done this and he's done that. If we're not hearing it from the principal and people can't feel it materially, does it really matter? Is it really happening? And then when it goes to his administration, I know when it comes to his administration, I feel that how can I say this? When it comes to his administration, I feel that about his they lied to us about his health. You had people going out there from the administration saying things like, "I just saw Joe Biden the other day, and he's doing cartwheels in the Oval Office, and he's Scrappy Joe from Scranton. He's all of these things, actively lying to us." And then the horrid debate comes. That horrid debate. And now they're all sitting with egg on their face. And now the Democrats are scrambling to figure out who we can get to replace him. Last time I checked, they should have had an open primary when 2024, 2023, when 2023 was rolling around. We should have had an open primary to unseat Joe Biden so he would not be our nominee. But instead, they gaslit us and said we weren't seeing what we saw. And by him stepping out of the election so late, it only gave Kamala Harris, 90 days, 3 months to run a campaign, which I must say she ran a phenomenal campaign for what? For the amount of time that she had. Obviously, I have some major critiques. The Cheneys, the hard pivot to the right. I always say this: why vote Republican light when you can vote for the real thing? But call me crazy. Also, too, her not separating herself from Joe Biden when Sunny Hostin, actually, we'll play the clip.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
There is another subset of people that I would like to put blame on, and that would be white people. White people overwhelmingly voted for Donald Trump, and more specifically, white women. Y'all just like voting against your interests. Is it impossible? Are you just, I guess, ectopic pregnancies? I guess the right to choose just isn't that important to you? I can't understand it. I don't know if it's the patriarchy. I don't know if it's racism. You did it with Hillary. You did it with Kamala. I'm sorry. I heard someone say you wouldn't even hire this if Donald Trump was a principal of your kid's school and there was a school that Kamala Harris was the principal of. I refuse to believe that you would send your kid to that school with Donald Trump. But essentially, you sent all of us to the school with Donald Trump. I I just I don't biting off your nose to spite your face. I just, for the life of me, I don't understand it and I don't get it. But it's not meant for me to understand. But yeah, I don't understand it. Now, giving some blame to the Democratic Party, I would definitely say that their strategy to always go right blows my brain. Um, Campaigning with Liz Cheney, which I said previously, this hard pivot to you know, uh, he's a felon and I am a prosecutor and all that cop talk when your base does not respond to that type of language. For the life of me, I don't understand it. Again, lying about Joe Biden's health and whether or not he would be up to run a campaign in the way that Kamala Harris was able to, or any other generic Democrat would have been able to. But he was not able to do it, and you lied to us and said that he could. So when it comes to my personal feelings regarding the election, I'm sad. I I have a different type of sadness when it comes to the loss of this election. I mean, it sucked in 2016 when Hillary lost, But it sucked even more this time because it really just illustrated how you could be twice as smart, twice as good, twice as empathetic, and overall favorable person and still lose. Black women have always known that they have to be twice as good to get half as far. And in this case, she was more than twice as good and didn't get what she was supposed to get. Obviously, racism and misogyny does not play all of the parts, but it definitely plays a major part in this. And anyone that tells you it doesn't is being delusional. And that's more so for the right leaning people. For the left leaning people, don't take that as that was it. That's the only reason that she lost. Let's be very clear. As the reasons illustrated before, that is definitely is part of the reason that she lost, but it's not all. Because I really need the Democrats to completely rework their whole DNC leadership. They need to get some new, fresh young people in there that understand that they don't need to go lean right. They need to stand steadfast, be able to communicate their policies and show what they've done for the American people. There was a tweet that I saw. There's the economy according to the suits with elite degrees, and then there's the economy according to working people who can't afford their rent and groceries. The first group calls the shots, but fundamentally lacks knowledge of or curiosity about the second group. And I think that's where the Democrats lost it. You can tout that the economy is the most amazing thing in the world and that we have bounced back better than any economy in the Western world after COVID, and that we have the lowest rates of inflation. But if people don't feel that, then it is not true. People can't pay their bills with GDP. They can't. I make over six figures a year. And that's not a flex. I'm just being honest. And even I notice when I go into Kroger's black people love putting the S on it. The 8-pack little Debbie gingerbread man that I've been eating since I was a kid growing up, and it was like $119. Maybe last year it was like around $250. I just looked at it today, it was like $317, and that's on sale. If I am noticing those prices and still like, dang, this guy a little bit expensive, but I can still afford it. What do you think about the people that can't afford those things? What about those people that are literally robbing Peter to pay Paul? And then you have the Democrats saying, but look at all these amazing stats. What are you talking about? I know you feel this way, but it's not real. How can you tell somebody what they're feeling is not real? That was just horrible messaging in my opinion. Just horrible messaging. I'll end this video by saying, Kamala Harris, you did the best you could do with such a not great hand that the Democrats gave you, especially Joe Biden hiding you for all those years. Obviously not to show the contrast of someone that is relatively younger than him. So I want to applaud you for doing the best you could do and trying to be an example for a lot of black young girls and black young boys and people of color to come behind you and actually shatter the rest of that glass ceiling that you have already put many of cracks in. And my last message is to black women. Actually, I made a short real video for it. I'm going to insert it here. Y'all have a good one. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Here's the video. Peace. It's been a rough couple of days, huh? To every black woman out there, I just want you to know that your magic is real, even if this country doesn't always see it. You are the backbone of this place, holding it down through it all. I know that weight has gotten heavy, and it shouldn't be on you alone. But you're not alone. I'm here as your brother, your cousin, your friend, your nephew, your son. And I'm right here, well, currently sitting, but will always be standing with you. We love you, and trust me, this country would have not made the progress if it had not been for you. Peace.